online or talk to their friendly UK team today.
Cover Today are the only over-50s life insurer with no waiting period. Get covered in minutes with no annoying trips to the doctor. With fixed monthly payments, prices start at just £4.42 a month. Plus, you'll get your choice of a £125 gift card. And you'll also get access to free 24/7 GP advice and health services as part of your policy.
So stop putting it off and get it done. Then you can get on with all the fun stuff in life.
To get a free life insurance quote, call our friendly UK team on 0800 977 6947 or visit covertoday.co.uk.
When facts are fragmented, we put the pieces together. Where power collides with truth, we are there.
Behind me is that massive security arrangements that are in place.
Behind fractured boundaries, we clear the fog of war. Fault Lines with Gauri Dwivedi, only on NDTV World.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
From interesting tech startups to industry-leading companies, politics, sports, culture, curry, cricket. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Like me, if you too thrive on interesting conversations, this is a show you cannot miss. Watch this space to know more about all matters and all people that make Britain what it is today. Out of Britain, with me, Radhika Iyer.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Namaste, hello, and welcome to the World Report on NDTV. I'm your host, Priyanka. Let's go right into the top story today. The Indian Army today took a dig at the United States by sharing an old newspaper clip from 1971 showing how the country has supported Pakistan for decades. The post comes a day after President Donald Trump threatened India over its purchase of Russian oil, saying that he will substantially raise tariffs on goods from India. The clip, shared by the Eastern Command of the Indian Army, dated back to August 5th, 1971, and it showed how the U.S. was supplying arms to Pakistan for decades in the build-up for the 1971 war. This day, that year, build-up of war, August 5th, 1971, the Army captioned the post. The Philippines President Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr. is in India for a 5-day state visit to India aimed at further strengthening the India-Philippines relationship. This is according to the Ministry of External Affairs. Now, President Marcos has met Prime Minister Narendra Modi today, and the discussions are expected to focus on defense, maritime security, and trade cooperation. The president has shown interest in acquiring additional defense equipment from India. Do note that in April, India delivered the second batch of BrahMos missiles to the Philippines as part of a $375 million agreement signed in 2022 for 3 BrahMos missile batteries. Now, the Philippines Air Force chief stated that the country is exploring further purchases of Indian defense systems due to their, and I quote, quality and affordability. 2 more sets of the Indo-Russian BrahMos missiles are expected to arrive over the next few years. In the sharpest statement since U.S. President Donald Trump announced a 25% tariff on Indian goods from August 7th, along with an unspecified penalty for its defense and energy imports from Russia last week. Now, New Delhi has hit back, saying that the targeting of India is unjustified and unreasonable, and the country would take all necessary measures to safeguard its national interests and its economic security. The Ministry of External Affairs issued the strong statement late on Monday evening, soon after Trump warned that he would raise the tariff on India substantially. My colleague Vishnu Som brings all the details. Vishnu?
A sharp counter to what the US president has had to say in terms of sanctions on India for the continued import of Russian oil over and above any tariffs which will be put in place by the United States. It's quite striking, because very rarely have we seen statements from the External Affairs Ministry which are as sharp as this, particularly against the United States. But given the fact that Donald Trump continues to pursue through social media his entire belief that India needs to be punished in a sense for what we continue to do with regard to the import of Russian oil, New Delhi has now said that there are clear double standards between what the United States, specifically Donald Trump, preaches in this case and what the United States actually does. They've also said that when it comes to the import of energy from Russia, Europe continues to do that, and they've come out with a document and statistics. I'm going to get into that in a moment, but what India says, and this is particularly significant, is that the targeting of India is unjustified and unreasonable. Like any major economy, India will take all measures to safeguard its national interests and economic security. But I think it's the specific points which point to the double standards of the United States which are relevant. Delhi points out that where the United States is concerned, it continues to import from Russia uranium hexafluoride for its nuclear industry, palladium for its EV industry, fertilizers as well as chemicals. And therefore the question is, then why are you targeting us? And they've also gone into a great deal of detail on how the European Union continues to have bilateral trade with Russia despite the Ukraine war. With statistics in 2024, there was bilateral trade of 67.5 billion in goods with Russia from the European Union. Therefore, India, which has always had an autonomous foreign policy, wants to assert that, look, don't, target us unfairly. That's not correct. And I think India has made it clear that our policy of autonomy will remain primary to our foreign policy goals.
Thank you for that, Vishnu. Speaking of Russia, the Kremlin has said that nuclear weapons should be spoken about with care after U.S. President Donald Trump announced that he had ordered 2 American nuclear submarines to move to unspecified regions. Now, speaking to reporters on Monday, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said, and I quote, "Everyone should be very, very careful with nuclear rhetoric," adding that the U.S. submarines were already on active duty before Trump made those comments. Donald Trump's special envoy is expected in Moscow days before the U.S. president's deadline on Friday for Russia to make progress on ending the war in Ukraine or face increased U.S. sanctions. Trump said Steve Witkoff would visit Moscow on Wednesday or Thursday. When asked what message Witkoff would take to Russia and what Vladimir Putin could do to avoid new sanctions, the U.S. president answered, and I quote, "Yeah, get a deal where people stop getting killed." Let's listen in to what the Kremlin is saying.
Не исключаем возможность проведения такой встречи. Продолжается диалог. Соединенные Штаты продолжают свои усилия по по посредничеству в поисках пути украинского урегулирования. Эти усилия очень важны, в том числе и в контексте идущего процесса прямых российско-украинских переговоров. Работа продолжается. Мы сохраняем нашу приверженность идее о том, что предпочтительным для нас, разумеется, является урегулирование украинской проблемы политико-дипломатическими средствами.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is reportedly pushing for full occupation of the Gaza Strip in a massive expansion of the country's military operations in the enclave. His move, according to Israeli media, comes as ceasefire talks with Hamas stall and Israel pushes for a comprehensive plan to end the conflict rather than piecemeal truces. Listen in to Netanyahu's latest reaction.
להמשיך לעמוד יחד ולהילחם יחד כדי להשיג את מטרות המלחמה שהצבנו, את כולן. את הכרעת האויב, שחרור חטופינו, והבטחה שעזה לא תהווה יותר איום על ישראל. בהמשך השבוע אני אכנס לקבינט כדי להנחות את צה"ל כיצד להשיג את שלוש המטרות הללו, כולן בלי יוצא מן הכלל.
New images of two severely malnourished hostages have horrified Israelis and added pressure on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to reach a ceasefire with Hamas, even as his government considers another expansion of the war, which has already destroyed much of Gaza and pushed it towards famine. Now, in the video released by the Islamic Jihad militant group, Ron Braslavsky says injuries in his foot prevent him from being able to stand. In another video released by Hamas, Eviatar David says he is digging his own grave and speaks of days without food. Listen in to what the father of Israeli hostage Ram Braslavsky had to say, followed by a report.
New videos of Israeli hostages held captive in Gaza are raising the pressure on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to reach a deal to end the war against Hamas. Gaza militants released a pair of videos over the weekend. They are two separate videos showing two men in difficult conditions. Both of the men appear emaciated and are begging for their lives. These videos have caused or have sent shockwaves across Israel. Israeli media have not stopped reporting about this for the past few days. Tens of thousands of people joined protests over the weekend, urging the government to reach a deal to bring them home. Their families, of course, are alarmed and begging the government. They say that time is running out to bring their loved ones back safely. Now, Netanyahu has condemned the videos. He calls it cruel Hamas propaganda, but he has not said what his next move will be. He plans on convening his cabinet in the coming days. They're discussing various options that could mean new efforts at reaching a ceasefire deal, but they are also considering the possibility of even harsher military action that would push any hopes of a ceasefire deal even further into the distance. In the meantime, we see the same humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Health officials continue to report every day new deaths.
A year on from the ouster of Sheikh Hasina and the bloody protests preceding it, Bangladesh is still reeling from that violence. Sheikh Hasina now faces trial for crimes against humanity as she is believed to be in India. But despite the bloodshed and lives lost, Bangladesh has continued to suffer as extremists and Islamic radicals are emboldened. The prospect of a better Bangladesh with a liberal democracy, political tolerance, and religious and communal harmony has remained a challenge, to say the least. And with no elected government in place yet, its future for the moment seems gloomy. Pakistan's Tehreek-e-Insaf Party has announced that it will hold nationwide protests on the second anniversary of the arrest of the party founder and former Prime Minister of the country, Imran Khan. Khan was arrested on August 5th, 2023, from his residence in Lahore after being convicted by a court in a corruption case. He has been incarcerated since his arrest due to conviction in other cases and is currently being held at the Adiala jail in Rawalpindi. Brazil's Supreme Court has ordered the house arrest for former President Jair Bolsonaro on trial for allegedly leading a coup attempt after losing the 2022 election. Prosecutors accuse Bolsonaro of heading a criminal organization that plotted to overturn the election, including plans to kill President Luiz Inacio Lula da Silva and a Supreme Court justice. Now, Monday's order followed one from the top court last month that ordered Bolsonaro wear an electronic ankle monitor and imposed a curfew on his activities while the proceedings are underway. The latest decision keeps the far-right leader under ankle monitoring, allows only family members and lawyers to visit him, and seizes all mobile phones from his home in Rio de Janeiro. China has reiterated that its government alone holds the authority to identify and approve the successor of the Dalai Lama. China said the reincarnation or successor of the living Buddha and spiritual leader of Tibetan Buddhism, and I quote, is never decided by the Dalai Lama himself and must be identified within China and approved by the central government. Let's listen in.
从来不是由达赖喇嘛个人说了算。达赖喇嘛的转世必须坚持国内巡访、精品撤迁、中央政府批准的原则，遵循宗教仪轨和历史定制，按照国家的法律法规来办理。
A huge wildfire in central California has threatened hundreds of homes with blazes churning through the brush-covered hillsides in Los Padres National Forest. At least 3 people were reported injured and more than 450 structures were under threat by the Gifford fire. The fire had scorched over 72,000 acres as of Monday evening, and by Monday night, the fire was considered only 5% contained. Authorities in Scotland cancelled trains, closed parks, and warned people to tie down backyard trampolines as a rare summer storm brought potentially destructive winds to northern Britain. The UK's meteorological office issued an amber wind warning in Scotland for Storm Floris, meaning there is a potential risk to lives and property, especially from large waves in coastal areas. The agency said wind gusts could reach 137 kilometers per hour, accompanied by heavy rain. The storm is hitting at the busiest time of the year for tourism as well, with hundreds of thousands of people flocking to Edinburgh Fringe and other arts festivals. Two boats launching fireworks caught fire in Japan on Monday during a summer festival in Yokohama that's located in the south of Tokyo. The event was canceled halfway and no major injuries were reported. Event organizers had planned to launch approximately 20,000 fireworks in 25 minutes as part of the Minatomirai, Smart Festival. But roughly 20 minutes in the event, the music stopped and the officials announced that the event was canceled due to safety concerns. We're going to a commercial break. Stay tuned for more stories. You're watching The World Report.
Mohit, you are known for your music. All your films, musics stay with us till today. I'm a millennial and those music are our kind of music. So whenever we say Mohit Suri film aa raha hai, we know the music will be good, right? It's a given. So you really work hard. But is this always like how you create your music? You need everything in place, the mood, the lighting, even when the person is in the studio and just singing. And also, how did you select your musicians that this person's voice is perfect for this song?
That's what I think, the amount you give to a song, that's how long it will last, I think. Everyone does the programming, everyone writes the words, everyone makes the thing. But the thing is how much you give, how much of heart you give to the lyrics or to the music or to the melody or to the singing. That's how long the song will last, is what I genuinely feel. If you don't give that love, you're not going to get it back. It's just a simple debit and credit procedure, I think, with the audience. I genuinely feel I don't have any special skill. I don't know any scale or anything else. It's just that I enjoy that process a lot. Give me an evening to just go for a film party or something, I'll skip it. But you give me like a struggling musician to go who has a great tune, some new guys, chill all night with them. I can do that. I can just sit there, make music and stuff like that. We just did that recently. Fahim came down. He just surprised us, and we met in my Bandra office. And Han was there, Aneet was there, and he made me hear his other songs and stuff like that. But it was it's so much fun, because I just think making music. I mean, film you still get to see something. I think music is so amazing. I mean, you just
don't need to see anything.
It's in the air, and suddenly it just comes together, and it's just you can just feel it. And something you hear makes you feel something. It's just magical.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora, we cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here.
Sleepless for sports. We are reloading sports NDTV style. With the biggest comeback this season, India's OG sports journalist on India's #1 news network.
No games, just sports.
Sports coverage levels up with Boria Majumdar on NDTV.
Welcome back to the World Report. Let's go into our next story. The U.S. could require bonds of up to $15,000 for some tourist and business visas under a pilot program launching in 2 weeks in an effort that aims to crack down on visitors who overstay their visas. The program gives U.S. consular officers the discretion to impose bonds on visitors from countries with high rates of visa overstaying. Bonds could also be applied to people coming from countries where screening and vetting information is deemed insufficient. Vietnam automaker VinFast began production at a $500 million electric vehicle plant in southern India's Tamil Nadu state on Monday. It's part of a planned $2 billion investment in India and a broader expansion across Asia. The factory in Tamil Nadu will initially make 50,000 electric vehicles annually, with room to triple output to 150,000 cars. It says the factory will create more than 3,000 local jobs as well. The Vietnamese company said it scouted 15 locations across 6 Indian states before finalizing and choosing Tamil Nadu. Tesla, the Elon Musk-owned electric car manufacturer, recently stepped into the Indian market with the inauguration of its first showroom at Mumbai's Bandra Kurla complex. On the same day, Tesla also launched the Model Y in India. However, it is now that Tesla has launched India's first superchargers in Mumbai as well. And according to sources, the Tesla charging station in Mumbai will have 4 V4 supercharging stalls. Marking its 19th anniversary with a sharp global pivot, Indigo on Saturday announced it will launch daily non-stop flights to London Heathrow from October 26, 2025, using leased Boeing 787-9 Dreamliners as part of a larger international expansion plan. This milestone comes as India's largest airline by market share prepares to induct 5 more Dreamliners this financial year, strengthening its long-haul play and bolstering connectivity to key global hubs. The London route will mark a major step in Indigo's wide-body operations as it seeks to scale up its international presence. In the end, battered bodies and souls and a shared series. The Oval Test would go down as a special one in the memory of every cricket fan. India won an astonishing game by defending 35 runs on the final day. A young Indian team completely outplayed an experienced English attack in the Oval. While the series stands at 2-2, the impact created by India was far greater. Shubman Gill summed up Team India's transition. This report brings you all the details.
In the end, battered bodies, satiated souls, shared stories, and a shared series. But the session charts clearly reveal that it was a series heavily tilted in favor of India. India won 33 sessions as against England's 22. Shubman Gill summed up his vision for the side.
ये सीरीज से पहले गौती भाई ने एक चीज बोली थी कि हम यंग टीम है बट वी डोंट वांट टू बी सीन एज अ यंग टीम वी वांट टू बी सीन एज अ गन टीम.
Leading from the front was Captain Gill. He surpassed Sunil Gavaskar's record of 732 runs, setting a new benchmark for runs scored by an Indian captain in a test series.
Jet from Shubman Gill.
For the first time in history, three Indian batters, Gill, Jadeja and Rahul, all scored over 500 runs in a single test series. Jadeja was the first player to score 6 half-centuries in a test series between India and England. It wasn't Bumrah, but Mohammad Siraj was burning bright. He became the first Asian bowler to take 4 or more wickets in a test match in England 7 times. India scored a mammoth 3,809 runs, the most ever scored by a team in a 5-match test series. Rishabh Pant began the series in a spectacular manner with back-to-back hundreds in Leeds, but faded out. Win or loss, his efforts will go down as transformational. Yashasvi Jaiswal stood like a wall when India needed him. The team was hit by injuries to Rishabh Pant, Jasprit Bumrah, Arshdeep Singh and Nitish Reddy. But after 25 days of intense cricket without Kohli, Rohit or Ashwin, by winning more sessions than England, Team India has passed the English test. At the end of a famous win in Oval, KL Rahul said that it was the beginning of change.
For a young team to come here and for a lot of us to step up and show the world that we can compete, we can win games outside of India. Yeah, it's truly a testament to what this team is and what Indian cricket means.
This was the first series after some of the brightest stars of Indian cricket quit tests. A new look Team India under new captain Shubman Gill added a new chapter in the folklore of Indian cricket. In New Delhi, Rika Roy for NDTV.
A thrilling match indeed. Let's cut to some live visuals of MOUs being signed. This is as the Philippines President Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr. is in India for a 5-day state visit aimed at further strengthening India-Philippines relations. This is according to the Ministry of External Affairs. President Marcos has met Prime Minister Narendra Modi today, and the discussions are expected to focus on defense, maritime security, and trade cooperation. The president has shown interest in acquiring additional defense equipment from India. And do note that in April, India delivered the second batch of BrahMos missiles to the Philippines as part of a $375 million agreement signed in 2022 for 3 BrahMos missile batteries. The Philippines Air Force chief stated that the country is exploring further purchases of Indian defense systems due to their, and I quote, quality and affordability. 2 more sets of the Indo-Russian BrahMos missiles are expected to arrive over the next few years.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the exchange ceremony. I now request the spokesperson of the External Affairs Ministry to command the rest of the proceedings. Thank you.
Namaskar and good afternoon. Your Excellency, Mr. Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., President of the Republic of Philippines, Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, Honorable Ministers, members of both delegations, distinguished guests, and friends from the media. We will now have the press statements. May I request Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, to give his remarks to the media.
Your Excellency, राष्ट्रपति जी, दोनों देशों के डेलीगेट्स, मीडिया के साथियों, नमस्कार, माबू हाय। सबसे पहले मैं राष्ट्रपति जी का और उनके डेलीगेशन का भारत में हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं। इस वर्ष भारत और फिलीपींस अपने डिप्लोमेटिक संबंधों की 75वीं वर्षगांठ मना रहे हैं और इस संदर्भ में उनकी यह यात्रा विशेष महत्व रखती है। हमारे डिप्लोमेटिक संबंध भले ही नए हैं, लेकिन हमारी सभ्यताओं के संपर्क बहुत काल से हैं। फिलीपींस की रामायण महाराडिया लवाना हमारे सदियों पुराने सांस्कृतिक संबंधों का जीवंत प्रमाण है। अभी जारी किए गए डाक टिकट, जिसमें दोनों देशों के राष्ट्रीय पुष्प हैं, हमारी मित्रता की महक दर्शाते हैं। फ्रेंड्स, हर स्तर पर संवाद, हर क्षेत्र में सहयोग लंबे समय से हमारे संबंधों की पहचान रहा है। आज मैंने और राष्ट्रपति जी ने आपसी सहयोग, क्षेत्रीय मुद्दों और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय परिस्थितियों पर विस्तार से बातचीत की। ये प्रसन्नता का विषय है कि आज हमने अपने संबंधों को स्ट्रैटेजिक पार्टनरशिप का दर्जा देने का निर्णय लिया है। इस पार्टनरशिप के पोटेंशियल को परिणामों में परिवर्तित करने के लिए एक व्यापक एक्शन प्लान भी बनाया गया है। हमारा बायलैटरल ट्रेड निरंतर बढ़ रहा है और $3 बिलियन का आंकड़ा पार कर चुका है। इसे और मजबूत करने के लिए इंडिया आसियान फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट के रिव्यू को जल्द से जल्द पूरा करना हमारी प्राथमिकता है। साथ ही हमने द्विपक्षीय प्रेफरेंशियल ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट की दिशा में काम करने का फैसला भी किया है। इंफॉर्मेशन एंड डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी, स्वास्थ्य, ऑटोमोबाइल्स, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, मिनरल्स, हर सेक्टर में हमारी कंपनियां सक्रिय रूप से काम कर रही हैं। विज्ञान और टेक्निक के क्षेत्र में वायरोलॉजी से लेकर एआई और एडिटिव मैन्युफैक्चरिंग तक जॉइंट रिसर्च चल रही है। आज संपन्न हुए साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी कोऑपरेशन प्लान से इसमें और गति आएगी। वाराणसी में स्थित इंटरनेशनल राइस रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट का रीजनल सेंटर अल्ट्रा लो ग्लाइसेमिक इंडेक्स को इस वाले चावल पर काम कर रहा है। यानी हम साथ मिलकर स्वाद और सेहत दोनों पर काम कर रहे हैं। मुझे यह कहते हुए खुशी है कि डेवलपमेंट पार्टनरशिप के अंतर्गत हम फिलीपींस में क्विक इम्पैक्ट प्रोजेक्ट की संख्या बढ़ाएंगे और फिलीपींस में सॉवरेन डाटा क्लाउड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के विकास में भी सहयोग देंगे। धरती पर तो हमारी साझेदारी मजबूत है ही, और अब हमने अंतरिक्ष की भी तैयारी शुरू कर दी है। इसके लिए आज समझौता भी किया गया है। फ्रेंड्स, मजबूत हो रहे रक्षा संबंध गहरे आपसी विश्वास का प्रतीक है। मैरीटाइम नेशंस के रूप में दोनों देशों के बीच मैरीटाइम कोऑपरेशन स्वाभाविक भी है और आवश्यक भी। ह्यूमैनिटेरियन एड, डिजास्टर रिलीफ और सर्च एंड रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन में हम मिलकर काम करते रहे हैं। आज जब राष्ट्रपति जी भारत में हैं, भारतीय नौसेना के 3 जहाज पहली बार फिलीपींस में नौसैनिक एक्सरसाइज में भाग ले रहे हैं। भारत की हाइड्रोग्राफी शिप भी इसमें जुड़ी है। इंडियन ओशन क्षेत्र के लिए भारत में बनाए गए इंटरनेशनल फ्यूचर सेंटर से जुड़ने के लिए हम फिलीपींस का स्वागत करते हैं। पहलगाम आतंक के हमले की कड़ी निंदा करने के लिए और आतंकवाद के खिलाफ हमारी लड़ाई में साथ खड़े रहने के लिए हम फिलीपींस सरकार और राष्ट्रपति जी का आभार व्यक्त करते हैं। म्यूचुअल लीगल असिस्टेंस और ट्रांसफर ऑफ सेंटेंस पर्सन्स के विषयों पर आज हुए समझौतों से हमारी सुरक्षा साझेदारी को और बल मिलेगा। फ्रेंड्स, भारतीय पर्यटकों को वीजा फ्री एंट्री देने के फिलीपींस के निर्णय का हम स्वागत करते हैं। भारत ने भी फिलीपींस के पर्यटकों को फ्री ई वीजा सुविधा देने का फैसला लिया है। इस साल दिल्ली और मनीला के बीच डायरेक्ट फ्लाइट्स शुरू करने के लिए काम किया जाएगा। आज संपन्न किए गए कल्चरल एक्सचेंज प्रोग्राम से हमारे ऐतिहासिक सांस्कृतिक संपर्कों को बढ़ावा मिलेगा। फ्रेंड्स, हमारी एक्ट ईस्ट पॉलिसी और महासागर विजन में फिलीपींस एक अहम साझेदार है। इंडो पैसिफिक क्षेत्र में शांति, सुरक्षा, समृद्धि और रूल बेस्ड ऑर्डर के लिए हम प्रतिबद्ध हैं। हम अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कानूनों के अनुरूप फ्रीडम ऑफ नेविगेशन का समर्थन करते हैं। अगले वर्ष फिलीपींस आसियान की अध्यक्षता करेगा। इसकी सफलता के लिए हम पूरा सहयोग देंगे। एक्सेलेंसी, इंडिया एंड द फिलीपींस are friends by choice and partners by destiny. From the Indian Ocean to the Pacific, we are united by shared values. Our is not just a friendship of the past, it is a promise to the future. Maraming Salamat po.
Thank you, sir. May I now request His Excellency, Mr. Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., President of the Republic of Philippines, to give his remarks to the media.
Your Excellency, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, honorable ministers, our friends from the media, namaskar. A pleasant day to all. It is but fitting to begin with words of profound gratitude. Thank you, Excellency, our friend and host, Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, for receiving us so graciously and hospitably on this state visit. It is my great pleasure to be in India. This sojourn makes me the 5th